Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our exclusive interview with Miss Chantel Jackson, the newly elected. She was certified a short time ago, a Democratic nominee for Assembly District 79 in the Bronx. Miss Jackson, congratulations and welcome to LittleAfrica BronxNews. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I know that you are hectic and busy and all of that good stuff, but congratulations. How do you feel?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for even engaging me in this conversation. It feels amazing. Like it's not, I can't put into words what the feeling is. It just feels really good.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is just so awesome. It took them a little while to get it together for all of New York City.
Well over a month.
Yeah, it did. It sure did. But you did it. You
right.
did. And November is coming up, of course. This is the Bronx, this is New York City, this is the blue state, blue city, blue borough. So we know it's just a formality, but you see where you are here. What made you decide to take this journey, to make this leap and to run for office?
So I got that question a lot, right? And I think one of the main reasons I decided to run is because there needs to be more voices like mine in Albany, right? I'm a licensed social worker. I'm a mom. I had my daughter when I was 18 years old. I've been on every form of public assistance. And that voice is the voice that's absolutely necessary in Albany, because a lot of the people who create policy for us probably have never been where I have been, right? So they may have never been a social worker and doing direct practice and understand what it means when you cut funding, when you cut Medicaid or you cut funding to certain programs. Or they may have, made decisions around like the TAP grant, which allowed me to go to school for free. And they may have never even had TAP. So they don't know how dire this program or grant is to survive and be a college student. So I just thought to myself, like, this is bigger than me. My voice and people like myself need to be heard in Albany. And so I took that leap and ran.
That's amazing. And your story actually, I'm sure, is an inspiration to so many other young people. You're a great role model. You've lived it. And you've been through tough times, difficult times, and today you representing the constituents of Assembly District 79. And that's quite an achievement. So again, congratulations. Now, since we know November is a formality, but just looking forward, looking beyond November, looking to January 1st. How do you plan on engaging your constituents? What do you see as your next steps? And what are some of the things that you're going to focus on? Because you strike me as someone that's going to just hit the ground running.
I don't know what made you say that, but I think when engaging constituents, I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing. And I'm pretty much out here in these streets. Like, COVID hit the Bronx really hard. A lot of people who live in this district have lost their jobs. Kids were not able to go to school. We already had a food desert, and now we're dealing with people who don't know how they're going to pay their rent. They don't know where the next meal is going to come from. And so since like March 17th, I was out here serving food with the helps of Michael Blake and World Central Kitchen, giving out PPE, and hosting plenty of Zooms around mental wellness, healthcare, resources, things like that. So I plan to continue to do that, be out here in the street, talking to constituents, serving where I can serve, and just being being available to people. And January 1 or whatever next year looks like, it's going to be the same exact format. what do people need, be there, show up for them, give them what it is that they're asking for, and be their voice in Albany. I plan on joining a number of committees so that we can execute the campaign we ran on. So we ran on wellness, housing, and education. And so my game plan is to go to Albany, learn from the senior members, take in everything, but also be very clear that the 79th Assembly District, we want to make sure that we get wellness brought into our communities, that housing is affordable and available to us, and that our education system is completely funded. So.
Wow, no, I mean, that is really, really great to hear. This pandemic has really brought about the new normal that we're all experiencing, and I'm sure with Albany next year, with the next legislative session, it's this new normal, this new way of doing things is going to continue. And right now, just on you mentioned that people are struggling to pay rent. There's a lot of food insecurity out there. Do you have any, what do you have in mind somewhat of addressing it? Because from what you just described, you out there, you're trying to help people, you're trying to distribute food to people, but you are the elected assemblywoman now. Just how else do you think that the state can help everyone, because people are struggling. We're all struggling.
We are
with this pandemic.
I think that, so the first thing is that we were already dealing with poverty before the pandemic, right? And we were dealing with unemployment, underemployment here in the Bronx, and we want jobs. Like, no one wants to be home. There's this idea that people are just lazy and they don't want to work. And that's not true. The truth is that we want to be employed. We want our kids to be employed. We want them to be busy. And so we want to be able to take care of ourselves. We don't necessarily want a government handout. We want to be able to take the hand up and run with it. So we're looking for jobs here in the 79th District. We are part of the poorest congressional district, and that's something that I'm tired of saying. I'm tired of having to acknowledge, and we need to change that. And so we're looking for jobs in our communities. We're looking for wellness in our communities so we can take care of our mental and our physical health. And it has to be more than just a talking point. Like, we have to physically start taking action and seeing these things come to fruition.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. Now, just speaking quickly about the November election, I mean, you just, as you say, it's been a month since the June 23rd primary. We know the Board of Elections is not a perfect agency,
No.
but just based on your experience that you've had with this race, will reforming the Board of Elections, trying to make these improvements based on your experience, is that something that you will push for so that other candidates don't have to go through what you went through and what many others who ran in this June 23rd primary experience?
So the short answer is yes, right? Because this was my first time actually spending this much time at the Board of Elections and seeing the process and looking at things that could be better. And I do appreciate everyone who showed up to work. They worked every single day at the Board of Elections in the Bronx, to make sure that we can get these ballots counted and the vote will be in. That does not change the fact that there were plenty of things that could have been done differently or should have been considered. There were I've watched so many ballots be invalidated, and that had nothing to do with the people that worked there. That had to do with our government and what we've decided should count and what should not count. Things as simple as they received the absentee ballots a day after the election, to no fault of their own. It could have been mailed out on the 22nd or the 23rd, or whatever the case may be, and it wasn't received. And what bothered me is that we didn't start counting. If your ballot was received by June 30th, it should have been counted, in my opinion. And I felt like the governor had a chance to make that decision and didn't. You know, there are plenty of things that I saw went wrong with this election. And, you know, a lot of it we can blame on the pandemic, but some of it has been historical, right? And those are the things that we need to start looking at and changing. So I had a really bad experience when I went to go vote. I voted with my daughter for the first time. You know, first time I'm voting for myself, first time my daughter's voting. She just turned 18. So we're really excited. I went to my polling place and I registered. I'm signing in. And the person who was signing me in had on a shirt with my opponent's name and face on it. And can you imagine what that feels like to be a candidate and you're going to vote for yourself and you're watching someone sit at the table, register you, and they have on your opponent's shirt, right? And it's just those things, the lack of professionalism, you know, things like that, that should never happen. Should never happen. And I had to call over the supervisor, the coordinator, and then even then it wasn't like, no one thought it was a big deal. And I'm just like, I am the candidate and I can't imagine how many other people have came, signed in and saw the same thing.
Yes.
So.
No, I mean, but that's something that you would think is a given. So I guess there needs to be more professional development done, more training. Yes.
More training. I think we need to change like this idea of who is going to represent us on election day, like who's going to work the polls that day. One of the things I was pushing for is for our young people to be able to work the polls because one, they need to be engaged civically. And two, they were sitting at home, not doing much of anything. And so they should have been the first ones there to be able to work. We kept saying that, like, you know, people who have underlying conditions or the elderly should not be out. And typically those are the people who work the election, people who are retired, people who are not working. And I was like, this is an opportunity for our young people to be a part of the process, right? And so my push for the general election, depending on what it looks like, where kids are, is that we have more young people who are 18, 19, 20 years old be able to work the polls.
No, that makes so much sense. To be honest with you, I mean, I remember back in high school. I mean, we all took government class, and I don't know, perhaps there's some way even to do some type of internship with the students and the Board of Elections. But you're right, the system needs to be improved upon. But Chantel, congratulations. I know it was a tough race.
It was tough. It was so tough. It was the toughest thing I've done besides be a mom at 18. Like, it was tough. But it was so rewarding. I had so much fun on election day. You know, I got to go out and talk to voters as they were in line. The lines were extremely long too, which is a good and a bad thing. The good thing is that people are really excited to vote, and the bad thing is that it should never be this hard to just do your civic duty. But I was talking to voters and they had me so like enthused to really serve them. I had a great time. It was hard, but I had a great time.
Well, you did it, and congratulations. You hit that campaign trail. The support, you saw the fruits of that on election day, and you see it again today with those votes certified. So again, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for this opportunity to interview you on this really, really great, important, and awesome day of yours. We wish you the best. We'll be waiting for November to come and go, but I'm sure for the constituents, the residents of Assembly District 79, they have an advocate, they have a supporter, they have a fighter that's going to be there for them, for the district. And we wish you the best.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for even engaging me on this day. It is, like you said, historical. But for my family, we're really excited. And this is just the beginning. The work really starts now.
Yes, it does. You're absolutely right. But one thing I think that you've shown everyone is that you're ready to roll up your sleeves and get the work done. So
I cut the sleeves off. See, no sleeves. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's just work.
You're ready. Well, thank you. again so much for taking the time out today to talk with us, and you know, all the best. We'll see you out in the street.
Thank you.
Thank you.